Good morning, listeners. Welcome to Wednesday, and this is part 2 of Sewcialists this week. As we said yesterday, this is another big week for Sewcialist followers. So today, Chloe will update us on this week's blog posts to come by the Sewcialists. Stay listening. A big sponsor shout out goes to Tatiana's School of Couture as she launches her online sewing workshops. Use the link on the Daily Series podcast to hop over to Tatiana's website and book in today.
So this week we're probably going to have 4 posts, I think. And that's something we do for a number of reasons. One is that a post comes up that we kind of want to get to and we've already got some stuff planned. Or often in theme month scenarios, you end up with, well, here's the 2 theme posts, but also we've got these other 2 that we wanted to do, and you actually end up with almost more content than you're expecting. So normally we aim for 3 a week, but this week we're going to have 4.
That's going to be good. Tell us about the 4 posts this week.
So one of them, I mentioned earlier that Kerry, when she was on Instagram, she'd done a bit of a shout out for what are the sewing questions you want answered to people, and she'd got a few responses on Instagram to that. So she's popped them into a post, and so that'll be sometime this week. We've got 3 of the theme month that we're doing, the kind of May We Remind You, looking back on previous themes. One of them is Gillian's written about 2 theme months in one post. So we had a theme month ages and ages ago called Tribute Month, where you sewed something that was like a tribute to someone else or something else. And then we also had one last year maybe that was Sew Style Hero, which is where you sew something in the style of your sewing hero. So they're kind of the same month but slightly different framing on them. And so she talks about in the post why she enjoys that month particularly, or that theme, but she also talks about trying to let go of the concept a bit, because she found both times that people didn't quite connect with it as much as she did. So she was really, really into the idea, but maybe we didn't get quite as much response from the community as we thought we would, or there wasn't quite as much engagement. People struggled with what is a sew style hero, or who would I do a tribute to and how would I express that in sewing. So for her it's like a really clear concept that she really enjoys, but she talks in the post about saying, well, obviously not as many people connect with it, so I had to let it go and do something else this year. So nice exploration from her. We've got a post on TNT month from me, which I'm super excited about because I really love. That one might end up being like a poll to find out what's people's favourite TNT at the minute, I think.
That would be fun.
Yeah. And TNT month is the month that basically drew me into becoming a Sewcialists editor. So it was the first theme month, I think, that I offered to write for. And then I hit upon the idea of doing some statistics for it. So tracking the types of things that people made and that kind of stuff. And because I ended up doing that, I ended up talking to Gillian more, and then she invited me to be an editor, and that's kind of how it happened. So it's very close to my heart. And then the last one, which I think will be on Wednesday, is a revisit of one of our posts from So Brave. So that was the month where you tackled something you'd been putting off, like inserting a zip or even cutting into a special fabric, that kind of thing. And so Emery Allard Smith, and they're on Instagram with that handle, wrote for us back then about their fear of making buttonholes. So the project for the original post was a waistcoat, and it was the first tailored garment that they'd made, but also the first garment with buttonholes. So the kind of so braveness of that was clear in the original post. Fast forward, and they're now pregnant with their second child.
Okay.
So trying to work out how to make what is essentially kind of dapper clothing, but while pregnant, right? Because there's not a lot of maternity versions of things like tailored waistcoats out there. And so different elements of So Brave in that. One being, how do you adjust a pattern like that for a body that's growing and incubating a child? But also they speak pretty honestly in the post about body image, because they're gender neutral, and so to be pregnant and have that kind of change in your body, and also all the associated stuff that goes with that around, maternity and those sorts of clothing, and how do you dress and how do you cope with that. So yeah, it's a great post, and I'm just such a fan of their style. And to go from kind of never having sewn a buttonhole to sewing whole dapper outfits of waistcoats and tailored jackets and that sort of stuff is like, I often watch other people on a sewing trajectory, and they go from like this is literally my first t-shirt and now I'm making a silk ball gown with boning and stuff. And they do it in like 18 months. And I'm sitting here going, oh, I've been sewing for 15 years and I'm still working my way up to making a bra, right? I love that post and the story it tells. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Oh, I mean, you wouldn't think about, maternity where that is dapper style or tailored.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a really good read.
Yeah, they're definitely exploring a world that not many companies, I think, cater for. So it's going to be good.
On the point of So Brave, I think one of the earlier times, I think what I wanted to do was bra making. It took me a year before I cut it out. It took me a year before I actually made my first one.
Oh, there you go. You see? And other people seem to be going from, I've hand-sewn a felt pouch to making kind of boned corsetry in the space of about 8 months.
Exactly.
I think I've said this before, but bra making's been on my list every year, on my sort of New Year's resolution, on my top 5 goals. It's been on my make 9 for the last 2 years. I still haven't started, so we'll see.
Yeah. Sorry, staying on bra making, it's hard to get. This was my point of view at the time. It's hard to get all the bits and pieces for it. So getting the plush elastic in the colour that you want with lace and the right power mesh, etc. And all the little, trying to get all those pieces is a whole lot harder than just getting knit fabric to make a t-shirt.
That's true. And even with knit fabric, depending on how you started sewing, there's always that kind of learning curve in anything that you do. So I started sewing with quilting fabrics because I started by making quilts, and then I started making, skirts for the kids or jackets for the kids out of quilting fabric. And so the first stretch fabric I bought, I had no idea when you would use what or what percentage of stretch meant or any of that. And so I've still got, I think, some of the first knit fabric I ever bought, because I bought like 1.5 meters of brown cotton jersey with very little recovery. I've never found a project that I should use that for. So I feel like that'll be donated or turned into a dog bed or something at some point.
Yeah, it'll still be used.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, certainly lingerie is the epitome of, they call it that in America, and I'm not sure what they call it here, and I've never seen that in Spotlight. And can I buy it online? And if I do, how much would I need? And there's no kind of sense of scale for me compared to, making like a whole dress or a jumpsuit or a pair of pants. So yes, I will dive in soon.
It's a different mindset.
But people seem to love it when they do it, so.
Yeah, they do.
All right, still on the list.
Okay. Excellent.
From us from this week.
It's really great that you had a good week last week on Instagram with all the feedback you got from everyone who follows Sewcialists. And I'm really looking forward to the blog posts that are coming up this week.
Excellent. And I'll see you next week.
Yeah, and see you next week. Have a great day, listeners.
Bye.
Bye.